I came into office when there were lots happening, both in the domestic economy and also externally, and it was not a very easy balancing act.
All right. So, Waziri, in your previous statements, one of the addresses that you said is what we seem to have in the country is "quote unquote" budgeted corruption, but essentially just a lot of wastage and pilferage. So, when you look at this year's allocation and the budget that you have prepared, do you think you've been able to address some of these issues?
First of all, we actually were alive to that, and we made changes from the budget making process. This year's budget is based on what we call zero-based budget. It's not based in the traditional incremental budgeting, where you just take the previous year's budget and put a markup. This time, every expenditure had to be justified by MDS. But besides that, there are a lot of reforms, a lot of which I will speak to in my speech. In fact, my speech, at the end of it all, you will notice, and I think Kenyans will appreciate, that it is a reform-minded speech. We are trying to reform, because one thing that Kenyans have consistently spoken to is that we are collecting reasonable revenue, but there is pilferage and there is wastage of public resources. So my attention in the last almost 1 year has been targeted at reforms, bringing reforms, policy reforms, reforms in procurement, reforms in asset management, reforms in pension management, reforms in human resource management, reforms in budgeting process, and reforms in revenue collection. All these combined, going forward, will help put this country in a path where we use our resources effectively and efficiently, and there will be value for money. That, to me, is my focus, and that is something that can stand the test of time. It is not something that will leave office with me. Once I leave office, I will have set a foundation upon which my successor and other people will coming after me will now build on to have a prosperous Kenya going forward.
All right. And speaking of leaving office, of course, the question that comes then to mind is, what do you want Kenyans to remember about John Mbadi as the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury? What are some of the decisions that you want to remain at the hearts of Kenyans?
One of the things that I will want Kenyans to remember me for is one who brought reforms in our procurement system so that the wastages and the corruption that we see in the procurement processes are reduced or eliminated completely. I would want to leave office as one who has helped to stabilize the economy and managed at least our public debt. I would want to leave office when people will be referring to that person who opened up National Treasury and made or demystified National Treasury to the extent that people start engaged more with the National Treasury. Not a closed system working in silos. National Treasury belongs to the people of Kenya. The finances belong to the people of Kenya. We are managing it or managing the resources in trust.